Come on into the room. We welcome you to Marriage Village Mondays. Oh, yes. Come on into the room. Hopefully you have had yourself an amazing Monday. Hopefully you haven't gotten yourself in any kind of trouble. And you're ready to go on and have this conversation on tonight. Come on into the room. Oh, yes. And when you come into the room, let us know you're there. Let us know that you are in the house. Again, we always want to officially and cordially introduce you into the room. You understand what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? All right. I'm going to slide this down here because I don't want to be in trouble with the Facebook police. And I don't want to have to be mad with anybody for reducing the sound of our video.
Certainly not.
You understand?
I see you, Keita Jones and Caleb, I'm sure.
What's going on, family?
And y'all coming in the room, coming on in. I know y'all, some of y'all reached out and said, are y'all live tonight or is it a pre-recording? So no, we in the house. We live tonight.
We're live, people.
It's real. It's real.
We are live and in color. Hopefully you have had a great weekend. Your Monday started off right. And now you're ready to have this conversation. But before we have this conversation and we get to doing all the things, y'all know how this goes down. The question on the floor is, wait for it. How are you doing? That's the question on the floor. How are you doing? Are you doing okay on tonight? I hope you are.
Come on, put it in the chat. We need to know how y'all doing.
I hope that you are doing well. And we hope that you are doing really good on tonight. You understand? Because we're going to have this conversation. Oh, we're going to have the conversation on tonight. I do believe that we have a pretty good topic on tonight. You know, but before we get into all of that, how are you doing? Huh? How are you doing?
I'm good. My voice is not full strength, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm not even going to go any further than that. I'm good. Maintaining. How you doing?
Y'all know what I say. I don't have bad days, huh? Yeah, let me talk that talk. I don't have bad days. I may have a bad moment, but a moment does not become a lifestyle. It's just a moment. You understand what I'm... Bonita Johnson, welcome to the Marriage Village. How are you doing on tonight? We're doing well. We're doing good. We're making our way through. We're doing the do. And tonight listen, this is not a pre-recording. This is actually us here live in living color.
In living color.
You understand?
Bonita said, I am amazing. That's what I'm talking about, girl. Get it.
Come on, Bonita. I know we got some other people out there. The question on the floor is, how are you doing? Huh? How are you doing? Did you have a good day? Are you ready to have this conversation? And then after the conversation, you just go on and slide on into rest. You understand what I'm saying? You already at third base now. All you got to do is just going to take that run and slide into home base. You understand what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down. Are you following where I'm going? So the question on the floor is, how are you doing? Lakita Jones says she's great. Glad to see that you are great. See, tonight, we're going to have this conversation. But before we have this conversation, you know what it is. It's Monday. Yep. It's after 9 o'clock. Uh-huh. And you see these two marvelous faces. That can only mean one thing. You say, what does it mean, JoJo? I'm glad you asked. It can only mean that it's Marriage Village Mondays. Yeah. Oh, yes. It's Marriage Village Monday, and it's about to go down. Okay. So what are we discussing on tonight?
Auntie Marceline in the room. Keita in the room. Keita says she's great. Good. That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely.
Anyway, back to what you were saying.
Tonight, we are going to have this conversation. And for those of you who are married and or those of you who are not necessarily married, but you're having to deal with baby mama, baby daddy, all that kind of good stuff, I believe this conversation will meet you somewhere that you may be, okay? But this topic tonight is for those who are in a blended situation. And the question is, do you have the right blend? Do you have the right blend? Are you willing to do what it takes to get the right blend? So we're going to have this conversation on tonight. We're talking about blended, the right blend. And you know, we all should know what a blended family is, but if you don't know what we're talking about in a blended family, we're talking about families where the parents have either had kids before they got married, or they were divorced and got married again, and now you're having to blend the old with the new. You're having to blend the old with the new. And sometimes blending the old with the new, it can give you challenges. It can present situations and issues. And we want to make sure, you know, here in the village, we always want to make sure that we prepare you and have you ready for what may be happening. So we want to have this conversation, and we want to talk about what it takes to successfully blend the old with the new, the old circumstance with the new situation. It didn't work in the first situation. Now we're in the second situation, and we're learning to bring the families together. We're learning to bring the parents together, and we are trying to make sure that as we are doing all of these things, that we are being successful in how we are bringing this thing together.
And if you are not in a blended situation, don't run away, because you may have some wisdom. I know Auntie Marceline always has some good wisdom for us, and so don't run off. If you are not blended right now, you may still be able to contribute to the conversation. And if you are single, you don't know if you might find yourself in a blended situation in the future. So don't run off. Don't run away.
Don't run away, because you can take, I like back in the day, they used to have that saying, you can learn a lot from a dummy. You can learn a lot from situations that teach you and prepare you for things that you may encounter down the road. You just never know what's going to happen, and we just want to make sure that as you're going, you're growing. Yeah, I said it. As you're going, you're growing. So tonight we're talking about the blended family, and I like to say, when you are bringing the old with the new, and now you are having to figure out how to coexist with your ex and coexist in the space with your new spouse, how to create boundaries and habits that warrant good communication and great success in blending the relationship. Mm-hmm. So when you start talking about blending, when you blend something, that means you have more than one or two ingredients in the situation, and now you're figuring out the appropriate blend. You're trying to figure out what's going to make what spices or what attributes do I need to put in this pot to make sure that this thing tastes good, it works good, it feels good, it is good. You understand? You want to make sure that you're putting the things in play to make sure that it's going to help you be successful as you're blending the new situation, the kids. Like, let's just say both parties coming into the marriage now, both parties have kids, right? So both set of kids have to learn how to coexist with one another. Both set of parents have to learn how to coexist with one another. And so now we are going to have this conversation on how do you create an environment where everybody can get the right blend. Everybody can have a good cup of life's circumstances in a great direction. So to me, number one, in order to have a successful blend in a blended relationship, you have to the parents. Okay, we're gonna start with the parents.
Start with the parents.
The parents have to have this mindset. It's no longer about what I or we want. It's now about what these kids need. So you can't now start making decisions based off of just what you want. Now you have to consider the whole circumstance. But the one thing that helps you focus and keep your eyes trained in the right direction is making sure that your eyes are trained to care more about what these kids need than what you want. Because you might want something, but it might not be best for what they need in the situation. So how do you work through that? How do you manage those circumstances? How do you manage those situations? Because let me tell you something. When you take 2 or 4 individuals and try to have them care for the same individuals, it can be a challenge.
Mm-hmm. You got that right.
You can run into a lot of issues because one set of parents might see it this way, the other set of parents may see it that way, and now you have to learn how to die to yourself so that this relationship, this blended situation, can work.
Yeah.
So what did that look like for you?
Well, I would say, and then even beyond just one set of parents versus the other set of parents, sometimes in the same household, you could have different ideas of how you want to blend, or, you know, different ideas of the way you think things should go. And we'll get into some other things later. But the point that was made, you know, as far as making, you know, point number 1, the parents need to focus on the needs of the children versus their personal wants. Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with that. Where our situation came into play as far as blended is, I didn't have any children at all coming into the marriage. And so I think I was the one being blended. I was being blended into a family unit that was already established. And then while the kids, you know, our children, they had to get used to me. And there was, you know, they did have some work to do as far as getting to know me and getting to understand me as a parent. But I always say I was the one blended in because it was one of me and 5 of them. Well, and it's 6 if you count their biological mother. Mm-hmm. So, 4 kids, my husband and his ex. And then here's me coming in, trying to blend into the mix. And so I do, to your question, making the kids the focus, that was my A1 day 1 thought. I didn't have any other as far as what the kids needed. There were times where I kind of had my own personal challenges, like just kind of getting my, cutting my teeth as a mom and just kind of working out my relationship with each one of our children. But at the end of the day, they came first.
Absolutely.
Period.
They have to come first. The kids have to come first. If what the kids need and want sometimes are not necessarily put in the forefront, you are going to have problems. If any one of these parents start getting in their own way and wanting to be selfish and needing to have things their way or the highway, we're going to have problems, because now it can no longer just be about one person. It has to be about all of us involved. It has to be about everyone a part of this circumstance or this situation. One of the concepts that you have to understand when blending the family and then, putting the kids first is you have to have patience and realistic expectations. You have to be patient and you have to have realistic expectations. You can't expect the other parents to have full understanding of what's going on right now, and they can't have unrealistic understandings of what's going on towards you in the situation. We have to be patient and we have to have realistic expectations, because guess what? We're not all going to parent the same way.
Nope.
We're not all going to see everything the same way. So now we have to have patience, and we have to have realistic expectations, because now we got to come to the table and try to figure this out.
Absolutely. And then in with that patience and realistic expectations, there has to be a level of trust, trusting that we're all looking out, that we're looking out for the best interest again of the children, and that again, they are the main focus. I will say this, in learning how to blend. I know we talked about, what did you say? You just talked about like dumping all the ingredients, and you were talking about cooking, baking. What were you talking about?
Just making sure that all the ingredients that form the blend is what it needs to be, so that it tastes right, so that it tastes good.
Perfect. So I am a foodie, so self-proclaimed, and so that definitely resonates with me. But also the other thing that kind of came to my mind when you're talking about blended coffee, I am an avid coffee drinker. I mean, every day, a couple cups a day. But that cream to Splenda ratio, cream to Splenda to coffee ratio has to be right. It has to be blended right, or I don't want it. Right. And so it's the same thing when you're talking about blending a family. There is a way that it should flow, and it won't look the same from family to family, because the needs are different. Right. And the children have different needs, and the people are different personalities, are showing up. But there is a blend that is right for your family. And it just takes time and work to get to it.
And you have, again, patience and realistic expectations have to show up, because if patience and realistic expectations don't show up, your point of view or how you're seeing it may not be sobered appropriately. My view and understanding has to be appropriately sobered. And what I mean by that is I have to be paying attention to what's going on from a patient and a realistic point of view. If I'm not looking at what's going on realistic, so what am I saying when I'm talking about realistic expectations? Okay, well, the truth of the matter is, now we are in this new place with these new people that we don't know, and now we have to figure out how to work it out and what's going to be best for us all to move and work appropriately together. And if we're not being patient with one another, if we're not having realistic expectations, then we will not have the right blend. Because when you're blending families, you have to understand that blended families are not going to mesh right away. Mm-mm. It takes time. That's why patience is important, because it takes time to find the perfect blend that works for the circumstance. And it's not just going to happen overnight.
No, it's not. Because the point that I just put up there, it's not a point, but just a note. You are merging your lives, your traditions, like your family, the way that your family does things or has traditionally done things, and your emotions, Lord Jesus, merging. Can you imagine? This is 6, including me, 7 sets of emotions that we were trying to blend in and blend out, right? Blend in things and blend out things. And so it's not easy, and it does take time. And we're going to keep saying that throughout. It's not impossible, because we, with the help of the Lord, successfully managed it.
Absolutely. And you can successfully manage it. You just have to be doing what it takes to have success at managing it. Okay. So managing my expectations. How do I manage my expectation? Sober my expectations with the truth. I have to sober my expectation with the truth. What are some of those truths? Kids, and when it comes to making emotional bonds, first of all, they're just getting to know this person. So there hasn't been time enough to have had builded trust. So now we have to start working on building the trust. We have to start working on building respect and honor towards one another, because let's just be honest, respect don't always come and honor doesn't always come, but it is something that needs to exist in the circumstance, in the situation, in order for it to be blended well.
So I will say this, don't wait until you're getting ready to marry somebody to start teaching your kids to respect or teaching your children to be respectful. Because one thing I will say coming into the Martin blend, those little Martins had a lot of respect. They were yes ma'am, no ma'am. They minded their manners. They were really respectful children. So that kind of helped me blend because I wasn't dealing with Bebe's kids. I wasn't dealing with heathens.
Nah, that matters.
The parents put something in them, a level of that honor and that respect for your elders, even to the point where mommy let them know at one point, Miss Cassie will beat your behind. She's going to whip your behind if you misbehave, if you're disrespectful. So we got on the same page, where discipline was concerned, but I didn't really have too many, they going to try you here and there. But I didn't have anything. I never ran off crying and slamming the door and locking myself in the bedroom. No, we weren't doing any of that. Thank you, Lord. But I'm saying that because there was a level of respect. The kids were respectful. So what I suggest to moms, dads who are entering into blended situations, or you're new in a blended situation, continue to reinforce respect for your elders, because what they need to do is respect that person as their elder, and then as the bonus parent, or whatever the relationship, whatever you're going to call them. Some people don't like bonus parent. I don't really mind it because it's an addition. It's a blessing.
Absolutely. So the bio parents have to lend the new parent, the bio parent had to lend the new parent their credibility. And I think that's a very good concept because, again, like on face value, you need to respect, more to the respect part of it, you need to respect your elders on the base level. Just on the base level, you should have respect for your elders. I don't know. This new generation is different, but they need to know the same concepts though. You need to honor and respect people just on the face value. They shouldn't have to earn your general respect for them. They shouldn't have to earn your general honor for them. You should just give that because it's what should happen across the board. And if you're not teaching that, let me tell you right now, you need to be teaching this to your children, and you need to be living it in your life.
Right. So when we talk about, dig a little deeper into that as far as lending credibility. What does that mean to our viewers?
Well, when I say lending your credibility, like the kids need to know, I trust you to handle them. Mm-hmm. So I'm lending you my credibility because I'm saying to them, hey, I trust her because if she needs to tighten you up, I'm not going to be sitting around here overseeing how she's handling you in the chastisement area unless I have to. So I'm giving that to her, and you need to respect it. You need to honor her as she is honoring the fact that you are now, hey daughter, good to see you on tonight, CJ.
Hey baby.
You need to understand that now we have this situation where these kids are sitting right in the middle. So now I'm giving her my credibility because they don't know her, but they do know me. So I'm gonna tell them, hey, you treat her like you should treat her because she's my wife. You don't get to disrespect her. I don't care if she's new. I don't care if you don't like it necessarily, because it's not about you liking it necessarily. It's about you doing what is right. And if you're just coming on, we are talking about the blend. We're talking about what it takes to appropriately and successfully blend families. When you're taking kids from one marriage into the new marriage and all this kind of stuff, you're blending all of this together. So we're talking about the blend. The first point that we made is, if you're going to do this thing the right way, you have to understand that the kids are the most important part of this blended situation. We have to keep our eyes focused on making sure that we do what's right for these kids. It's not about me. It's not about you. All of our feelings and stuff like that need to go to the side so that we can make the best decision for these kids so that they can have the best blended circumstance and situation that they can have. Then we said number two, well, we said building from that, you have to be patient and have realistic expectations. You have to be patient and have realistic expectations. Because if you're going into the situation, and I think about me and my wife, because my wife has some expectations, and I was trying to let her know I don't think that's going to happen, but she had it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to let you, I had to let her find out for herself that these particular expectations were not going to be because of this. So the truth had to sober her expectation. Now, it was admirable what she wanted and what she was desiring, and I loved it. But I knew from being in relationship with the other side that was going to be a challenge.
So here's what it is. I hope against hope. That's just how I am. And so I'm like, oh, we'll all be able to go on family vacations together. You know, we don't all have to stay in the same place. But I mean, I definitely would have loved to have a villa, right? And the kids would have both sides, you know, their mom and stepdad, their biological father, their dad, and then their stepmother. And we are all in the same setting, you know,
one team.
It was for vacation, for holiday, whatever. And so my husband quickly let me know that's not gonna happen. And you're talking about crushed, because here's what went on. I had one of my good covenant sisters, and I shout her out for this all the time, Donna Long. I watched the relationship that she had with her son's father, and you know, and he remarried and had other children, but the way that the families still were able to navigate and engage one another, I don't know. It was like they were truly family, and it didn't matter that he had moved on and she had moved on, but their son was the priority, and they were a family, and so that gave me hope. I was like, oh yeah, we can. If all I need is to see one person do it, and that gives me hope that it could possibly happen for me. However, there are some variables that we have to keep in mind: other people's personalities and other people's desires. Here's what I know: you can't override somebody's desire. Or you can't steamroll somebody into something for the sake of the kids, and then everybody might end up being miserable.
Absolutely.
So needless to say, it never happened. So I don't know how it would have worked out, but that was in my heart. I was like, oh, we'll be able to take vacations together, do things together, because I wanted our kids to have all the parents. You know, I didn't want anybody left out. I didn't want them to look back over the years and see pictures and their dad was missing, or on coming with us and seeing pictures and their mom was missing. I don't know. I didn't like that.
Well, and I think, like I said, I believe that's admirable. But again, truth had to sober expectation. So you have to allow truth to sober your expectation, because again, you can want something and it could be the right thing to want, but you have to understand that everybody's that's processing this new place processes at a different speed. You may be processing at a speed that says, hey, I'm cool. Listen, we can go stay in a hotel together and all that kind of stuff. But the other people may not be there yet. They might still be feeling the effects of whatever happened that led to the breakup. You just never know. So having reasonable expectation is very vital to being able to blend the relationship, blend this new situation together. Because again, if you're not being patient and having realistic expectation, it can cause issues along the way. You have to avoid. See, this is what we have to stop doing. We have to stop rushing closeness. Closeness has to happen organically. You got to know people. You got to understand that when we have to avoid rushing closeness and focus on consistency, not perfection. I see you, daughter. CJ says, looking back now, I took my stepmom through it. Now we are best friends, but still there are lines. Absolutely. And there may always be lines. So you have to understand what works for you. What is the perfect blend for your situation? And just because it's something that you want doesn't mean that it's going to become a reality. Mm-hmm. And you don't freak out when it doesn't necessarily become a reality. Just accept it for what it is and try to make the best of that situation. See, we have to learn how to make the best of the situations for all involved. Mm-hmm. No one can be selfish in this situation.
Even if you have good intentions, it's still that you can't be selfish and want to push that forward, because here's what, you keep that good intention in your heart. You keep, that goodness, keep trying to come from a good space.
Yeah.
Don't stop doing that. But to this next point, don't rush closeness. Don't try to rush closeness with the kids. Don't try to rush closeness with the other side. Just sit down.
and know that that's okay, because the situation and the circumstance that you're in now requires delicate hands and delicate thoughts towards it, because again, you got to understand, you're bringing elements into everyone's life that there may not necessarily be used to yet, or necessarily have learned to even care to have it. That's a reality. And you have to handle that delicately. Mm-hmm. There were certain things I wasn't going to say, and there were certain things I wasn't going to do, because I understood the situation. And let me say this. Understand the situation. Please get an appropriate understanding for the situation. If you're not allowing yourself to be sobered with the appropriate understanding of what's really going on and what it really is, oh my Lord, you're going to struggle, because your desire versus what's happening will not be meshing well. And that's when we have to make the appropriate adjustments to change my desire. That takes time.
Definitely.
All right. Next point is, we have to have respect for the previous family systems.
Well,
you got to have respect for it. You might not like it, and it might not even be healthy, but you have to have respect for it. Because when you have respect for it, if it's wrong, your respect for it will allow you to come in a humble place to deal with what may be wrong with it in the appropriate space, in the appropriate heart.
Yeah. In this family system, kids actually had a voice. They could actually disagree respectfully. They could, I don't know that family system. I wasn't raised in that kind of system. I was raised in the be seen and not heard system. I was raised in the, if you have an opinion, I'll give it to you. Your opinion is what I told you it is. And I'm being funny, but I'm serious. I was like, you stay in a child's place. You don't know what I say. That's the final answer from the parents. So this family system, though, the children were allowed to respectfully disagree. I had to make some adjustments.
Absolutely.
In my person for that, because I don't want to hear your voice. Is how I was. When I say something, I don't want to hear anything in response other than yes, ma'am.
And that took time, because again, that wasn't how I was raised. I was raised, you have the ability to share what happened, and I had the response. My dad took the responsibility to listen to what was being said before he whooped me. Because you can be ready to whoop a kid, and if you don't have full understanding, you could be whooping them for the wrong reason.
Wow.
So if you're not listening to understand, because old systems are, I do believe, in certain areas, do not remove the old landmark. But I also believe there are certain landmarks that need to be moved and blown up because they don't work. If it doesn't work here, I'm not using it. If it doesn't work here, I'm not going to have it in play, because it doesn't work. Just because it worked for mama and daddy and them, Mama and daddy then was living in a completely different time.
They certainly were.
They were living in a time where morality was more important to society. We were raising kids where morality didn't matter. So you have to give these kids an understanding, because I'm of the belief you don't just whoop a kid just to whoop a kid. You give a kid the understanding of why they're being whooped so that they don't take it and internalize it inappropriately. That's how I was taught, and I believe, I'm not saying my way is always the best way but I do believe in that particular regard, that was the best way to raise children, because I was given a voice. I know some of my friends who were not given a voice, and they hate their parents because they were not given a voice. But some kids can handle that. I wasn't one of those kids, because I want you to know, don't be whooping me for no reason. Don't be whipping me when you haven't talked to me about what I did. If I did something wrong, yeah, whoop me. But if I ain't did something wrong with my teacher lying, you need to trust that I'm telling you the truth. CJ said my dad would leave us by ourselves, and all he said was be respectful. Absolutely. See, this is the thing. Respect, when you respect boundaries, you will handle them from that perspective. When you respect what happened before you came into the situation. And I think when you're in a blended family, that's very important. You have to respect what happened before you come in and start trying to blow stuff up when you don't really understand why it was that way. You have to, that's for anybody. Like, you have to, like, if you're getting remarried or whatever the case may be, you have to respect what was set up before you came in. Come in, get an understanding of what was working. And then if there are adjustments that need to be made, you and your spouse have the conversation. But you got to get an understanding for why it is before you come in and try to blow it up. You know what I'm saying? All right, so respect for the previous family systems. Acknowledge that children may still feel loyal to their other biological parents. And don't get offended by that. Kids are going to be kids in these situations. Kids are going to be kids. They're going to try to angle the situation for their benefit. They will pit you and the other parents against one another for their benefit. And you know what? Don't get too crazy mad about it, because they're only doing things that a kid would do. So if you're respecting that and you're understanding that, your actions that follow should indicate that you understand that. Your actions should say that I'm being cautious because I know kids are just going to be kids.
And then you can't be super emotional if you are the person being blended in. For example, we were our first time taking a family photo. I think we were at JCPenney or somewhere like that, doing a holiday photo. And I think the photographer said something like, stand over here by your mom. And I can't remember if it was DeAndre or Dominic. One of them said, she's not our mom.
Dominic.
Right, I think it was Dom. She's not our mom. I was like, if I would have been, if I did not take into consideration just what this point was, or this acknowledge that children may still feel loyal to the other parent. They don't know that they don't have to choose a side. Our kids were in that picture. So they were 3, 4, 5, and 8 when we got together. When we got married, they were 4, 5, 6, and 9. They don't know at that young age that they don't have to choose a side. They don't know that I'm not an enemy, that I'm not going to ever try to be their mother or take their mother's place, is what I should say. They didn't know that. Like, a child doesn't know that. All they know is my world has been shifted. Yeah. Nothing looks like it used to. And now here's this lady coming in here trying to hug and kiss me. Literally. They weren't able to process it fully. Yeah. And so acknowledging that they have that loyalty to the other parent. It doesn't take anything away from me. It didn't take any, that's their mother. There should be a loyalty there. Now, you don't get to disrespect me, but you do get to work through your emotions about your world being shifted. And now kids, so here's what I think sometimes we expect children to shift how we would be able to shift as adults. When we've got plenty more practice in shifting quickly than a child does, or we should anyway.
Well, I think the thing is like when you're speaking more to the maturity part of it, that comes into it because they're a child. They're going to act like a child. They're going to behave like children. You can't expect them to have adult understanding, especially now when you're talking about bringing this family, bringing newness to their world. This is a whole new situation for them. So the number one thing that you have to do in that particular moment, you have to encourage healthy relationship with both sides. Like, don't let them, like, this is where the parents have to be parents. Don't let them form bad opinions.
Right.
Don't let them form bad habits. You jump in front of the situation and you speak to them about it. You allow them to understand that it is okay to have a healthy, respectful relationship with both parents, both sets of parents.
Yep. So say it one more time.
Encourage healthy relationships with both sides when appropriate. We got to understand when it's appropriate to do it, but also make sure that when it is appropriate to do, you are doing it. Because again, kids are going to play the system. They're going to play sides. They're going to try to pit you against one another because that's what kids do. But you as the adult, you have to have understanding. Okay, they're acting like a child. We're going to bring honor and respect, and we're going to sober their reality with the truth. And this is the truth. You don't get to pit us against one another. Right. We are a united front. We're going to be a team. We're going to handle this thing the right way. Now, you may not always be able to do that, but that should at least be a thought in your heart at all times as it pertains to working with the other side. And let me say this. You need to work with the other side. There should be a uniting of the parenting team. And this is when your personal feelings and what you desire and what you wanted has to go to the back burner. And we have to put these kids and what's necessary for them right in the middle. What they need needs to be what's most important. How are we as parents going to coexist with one another to create the best environment for them? If we're What was that?
No, I can say that.
If we're not working together to make sure that they have the best environment for them, we're not doing our jobs as parents. And you have to be a whole grown-up in this situation.
Yep.
You can't be a baby. You can't be a baby, an adult, a baby posing as an adult. You have to be a full-grown adult.
100%.
Because sometimes it's not going to be easy to deal with the other side. And that's okay. Because we learn to get better as we go. We learn to get better as we grow. We learn. So, no, I'll give you that. But we need to come to the table. You need to be willing to, bless you, you need to be willing to come to the table to have the conversation.
100%.
Parents must discuss rules, expectation, and discipline privately to present a united front.
So one more time,
parents must discuss rules, expectation, and discipline privately to present a united front. I don't care if y'all don't like one another. Get over yourselves, because it ain't about you now. You made a choice to move on. So now we have to make a choice to do what's best based off of our decision. Mm-hmm. These kids ain't had nothing to do with your decision. They're just dealing with the fallout from your decision. And you need to remember that.
And the reason why, it's important to discuss it privately is because what you don't want is for your kids to think, well, this side feels this way about the discipline and this side feels another way, because what that is going to do is going to continue to create that competition, that continual playing one side against the other.
Yeah.
And so when you discuss these things privately, it gives the parents the opportunity to disagree behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And get it together before they stand in front of the kids. Because there may be things that we need to hash out. We don't need to hash it out in front of the kids. Because the next thing you're going to hear is, well, my dad don't like it that way anyway. Or dad said he wouldn't do it that way. Or mom says she would. No. We don't need, first of all, get your little hips somewhere and sit down and shush it, is what I was saying.
Well, I think when you understand this particular place in the blended situation, you have to understand that expectation and discipline privately, like Cassie said, it gives you the ability to get in front of pitting against one another and having these unnecessary fights or the unnecessary jostling matches on power and all that other stuff. No. Let's come to the table and come to an agreement. One of the things that I believe that you should always have an agreement or have a discussion on is who's going to discipline. Are you okay with the new parent disciplining? And if you're not, why? Because we need to discuss that. Because they need to have power too. They need to be given authority too. They shouldn't have to just. I told Cassie when she came into the situation, you won't have to discipline them because they won't respect you if you don't.
And I was selling whoop tickets. I was talking this big whoop about, I'm gonna whoop them. Hardly ever. Honestly, I think DeAndre got the most whoopings from me.
He did. He earned them respectfully.
He did earn them. He earned them. He earned them. Every one of them. Because if I gave him 3 in his life, he earned all 3 of them.
Absolutely. But yeah, so you should have these. You should, first of all, you should ease into the disciplinary roles. And biological parents should lead at first. Yeah. And then you lend your credibility. Okay, now you know her. You know she's safe. She gonna deal with you now. I'm not like, we had a point where I was like, I'm not stepping in, because if I do, they will not respect you. And I had to stand on that. And she got it, but it is something that you have to talk about, and you have to learn how to get okay with. All right. So the next thing is we have to have open, honest, age-appropriate communication.
CJ said, my dad wouldn't let her, the craziness that would cause. So her dad wouldn't let the stepmom discipline.
Wow. Well,
and I, first of all, the fact that I didn't really want to whoop them, that probably helped as well. You got to watch out for people that are just ready to hit children.
Absolutely.
Just ready to just go to town on them. Now, like I said, I would talk a big game, and that's because whoopings were like the threat for us. Like, you gonna get a whooping, and we straightened up because we didn't want to get a whooping. She said she could ground. That's it. No, sometimes you need to have a little more authority, because some kids, they don't care about being grounded.
Well, but I agree with that. But then you have to understand the circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, our situation, a little bit different. Maybe her dad knew something that we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I certainly think that parents need to have the new parent need to have a fair amount of authority, but you have to know the person, and you have to make sure that the situation warrants for that person to be able to do it. Did my dad? Did I
Come
just
on,
see
Pop
my dad?
Pop. Yes,
What's up,
sir.
Bishop?
Welcome, sir.
What's going on, Bishop Pop? He said it's a per person situation. Everyone ain't right in the heart. Absolutely, Pop.
That is the truth.
I agree. That's why I was saying, like, you have to. CJ said my mom would have been outraged.
Well, and like for our situation, again, that is one thing I will say. We were a united front on there. You know, you're not going to be disrespectful. Their mother told them, Miss Cassie will whoop your butt.
Yeah.
And she and I'm basically I sign off on her whooping your butt if you cut up.
Absolutely. We love you, Dad.
Too, Pop Pop and Mamita. I know she's somewhere near.
Yeah, like you I think it's very important because you got to understand that, as Dad said, everybody's heart isn't right. But then you have to understand who you're dealing with, you know, and that's why having, what do we say? Open, honest, age-appropriate communication. And that is between the adults and with the kids.
Yep.
There are certain things that you should not be having communication with your child about. If you two are having a moment, you shouldn't be trauma bonding with your child about y'all circumstance and situation. That's not that ain't gonna work. No. That's gonna cause a whole they're gonna take that information right on over to the other side, and that's gonna create more problems than it will resolve.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other thing is like when that happens, so we're gonna just go ahead and knock this out. When those children bring you things from the other side, you have to put on your big girl panties, your big boy underwear, whatever you putting on.
Absolutely.
And not flip out about it. First of all, you know the other side. So you probably know what's true or what isn't.
Yeah.
But then you can never let those children see you react negatively to whatever is being said or done.
Yeah.
Right? You have to maintain your composure. And I'm speaking from experience.
You gotta maintain
no disrespect
your composure
at all intended.
Yeah.
But you better maintain your composure, because here's the other thing that I know. We're teaching our children at every turn. They're watching your response or your reaction when they come and say, Daddy said you ain't nothing. And I'm using the word nothing, but they might have put a cuss word there. Daddy said you whatever. They're looking at how you respond or how you react. Because number one, guess what they're going to do? They're going to take how your reaction is back over there. But it also shows them how to react or not react.
Yep.
When they are older or when they get in certain situations. We're constantly modeling. It don't sound good. It don't sound fun, but it is what it is.
Well, you got to understand that you are training you are possibly training their relationship stance from that point.
Yeah. Pop said, Mary right, it will be all right.
Come on, Pop.
That's where the right hearts come from, and you will be united.
Amen.
And know what's appropriate.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
sir.
Absolutely. And I think that if we could go all the way back to the front, that's the most important thing, if you ask me.
After
keeping
the kids. Well,
yeah.
I mean, that still goes in line.
Marry right. You know, like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Marry
right. Make sure that you're marrying the right person with the appropriate heart towards. That was important for me. Like, I saw people deal with bad step parents, and I was dead set on making sure that I chose appropriately. I took my time because it was necessary for the children. Because it's my responsibility, or the parent who has kids, is your responsibility to be overseeing and governing who you're choosing.
Absolutely. And even if if you are in a situation where both of you are bringing children from a previous marriage or previous relationship,
Yeah.
it is both of your responsibility to choose appropriately. Ladies, just because he asked you doesn't mean you have to say yes.
Absolutely.
Men, just because she's, wearing you down to put a ring on it doesn't mean you have to. You got to know what's appropriate.
You got to know what's appropriate. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the next thing is we have to build trust and relationship equity.
Thank you, Pop.
What'd he say?
He said, yes, say it. Pastor Cassidy is thebombmom.com.
Okay. She is. I would say that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we have to build trust and relationship equity.
Oh.
Trust grows through small, consistent actions. Again, I'm going to say that one more time. Building trust and you have to build trust and relationship equity. Trust grows through small, consistent actions.
Mm-hmm.
Small, consistent actions. Each relationship, step parent or real parent, have to be consistent. You have to be consistent in how you're dealing with the circumstance at hand.
Yep.
If you are inconsistent, that inconsistency will show up abroad.
My Lord.
It will. If you're inconsistent, that inconsistency will show up abroad. And that's why it's important for us to consistently be building, and you got to forgive a lot. Be willing to forgive, Doc. Let stuff go. Address what needs to be addressed if it's addressable. But if it's not something that's harming them or harming you, sometimes you just got to let things go. You just got to let it blow by.
Mm-hmm. And so I know you said kids need consistency, but so does the person that you're in relationship with. Absolutely. The person that's being brought in. You can't be up one day and down the next, or today you can correct the kids, but then tomorrow or next week, don't say nothing to my kids. Ugh. That's a mixed message. It's a mixed signal, and it will do more damage to the relationship. It will do more damage to the establishment of the relationship between that step parent and that child as well. Now, again, if we're talking about abuse, if there's abuse, then cut it. However, you just got an attitude because you mad at that. You gotta, I won't say what I was. Let me get my words right. The Lord is working with
your words
about
right.
saying things appropriately, and it's not swearing, but it's just things that may not be appropriate for the way that I'm going to say it may not be appropriate. But anyway, because you have a hair up your butt about something and now with your spouse, and now you want to tell them, don't say nothing to my kids. That's not going to work.
No, because now there are kids. And as much as there may not be a bloodline, you cannot make the bloodline an issue.
Mm-mm.
We have to handle this as much and as best you can. You have to make this situation our situation. If you put any slants or any difference in there, the kids are going to know and they're going to play it. So you got to be smart. You got to know what, if that's how you feeling, don't let it come out your mouth. Because, oh man, that'll create a huge rift.
Lord,
a huge rift. So don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
And because the last thing you want is for those children to come back and say, my dad said, don't say nothing to me. My dad said, you can't say nothing to me anyway. Oh Lord.
Listen.
Help me.
You bet. Listen, because again, you want to be creating an environment of success in the area of communication with these kids, and you want to communicate appropriately across the board with the kids and with the co-parents. We have to have appropriate communication going on at all times. That just needs to happen. Because if it's not, it's going to be an issue. All right. So as we close, we want to make sure we talk about the basic strategies for this new place and for the new situation. Number one, you want to have practical strategies for success. You want to have practical strategies for success. What do I mean? You want to set up things that create memories. You want to make sure that you're having conversations, and you want to make sure that everybody understands where we're going as a family. How do you do that? You do that by doing things like weekly pizza night and game night. You want to have an annual family trip.
So basically creating new traditions.
Yes, creating new shared traditions. That could be a weekly pizza night or game night, an annual family trip, holiday rituals developed together. Traditions create unity and a sense of belonging.
Yep. And so I would add to that, create new shared traditions, but then honor some of the old ones.
Absolutely.
Right. Where you can, maybe something that they always, now, again, not taking the place of, but one thing for me, we would do Christmas socks, or just every year we would do some socks, or we would do a picture every year. Again, now they did that on the other side as well.
Yeah.
But I made sure to build that in on our side too, so that we could get some of those same memories again, so that when they look back over their life, over their childhood, they will see things showing up from mom and stepdad's side and from dad and Miss Cassie's side, right?
Absolutely.
And so, again, create new shared traditions and then honor some of the old ones.
All right. Next, you want to establish clear household rules. You want to establish clear household rules. So you want to establish who handles homework, help, chores and responsibilities, how discipline works. Predictability reduces anxiety for children. So you want to be predictable in these areas. So they know when they come in the house, they know the rules, they know the roles, they know what's supposed to be going on, and we don't have to fight about that every time they come over.
Now, for example, our kids knew, somebody's going to be hitting them dishes, somebody's taking the trash out. Like they had things, they had the bulk of their chores probably, I'm sure, at their mom's house. But they didn't come over, to us and sit around and do nothing. That wasn't happening. And they also knew, did they know it? And they still talk about it. We're going to church. When you come over here.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to church. Your parents are pastors. So that's the first thing. But not only are you going to church, we're going to read the Bible at home. We're going to do some Bible games. We're going to have some Bible trivia. You're going to learn some stuff at home.
Absolutely.
But we go to church, Miss Cassie, we going to church. Thank the Lord for the church. However, y'all my kids. Y'all are our kids. Look, I definitely got territorial. Y'all are our children. And there's a certain level that we are going to require of you beyond just going to Sunday school and letting the teacher at the church teach you.
Absolutely.
So they knew that. And sometimes they hated coming because they knew we were going to church. But it's all right.
It's the rule and it's the roll.
It's the rule and it's the roll. And they were only with us on Wednesdays and every other weekend. And so they did say, we were always at church. You ain't always at church, because when you go to the other side, you're not doing what we do. Not that they didn't go, but I'm saying they didn't do it how we did it because we were super involved. And so there was a higher level of responsibility. But in their minds, they were always at church because every time they were with us, we did.
Absolutely.
So anyway, basically establishing that was a household rule. That was a family staple. We will worship the Lord. As for us in our house, we will worship the Lord. We're going to serve the Lord. So, all right. Anyway.
All right. Prioritize couple relationship. Prioritize couple relationship. Okay. And what I mean, strong couples create strong blended families. So we as a couple need to be creating strong bonds between the two of us. Both couples need to be strong couples.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have to have the same rules in the home, but we do have to have similar to the same moral construct.
Mm-hmm.
Set aside regular time for connection without the kids. Parents, it is okay for you to need a break from your kids. That is not abnormal. That is normal. Get some time away for your kids so that you can be refreshed for your kids and for your marriage. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then present yourselves as partners, not competitors. Present yourselves as partners and not competitors. The kids should not see you guys competing against one another. That is just crazy making to me. The kids should not see you competing against one another. And lastly, encourage flexibility. Schedules, emotions, relationship will shift. Adaptability is a key ingredient for long-term success. And last but not least, I'm sorry.
You just said last but not least.
I got one more. I got one more. I'm gonna let you put that one in there.
We ready.
All right. Seek external support when needed. It takes a village, people.
Man.
It takes a village. So, a family therapist, parenting coaches, blended family support groups, professional guidance can ease transitions. And use your family when you can to take breaks and to help with upbringing. It takes a village. All right, you have anything you want to add to that?
I will say that I want to say this. I have to shout out our spiritual parents, our pastors, because
absolutely
we and I'm gonna start with them, and then I'm gonna go to the first successful blend since with us being married that I saw. But our spiritual parents definitely modeled what a successful blended family looks like.
Yeah.
Because when I met them, I didn't know whose kids was whose.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Right.
That's
so
true.
Mom Coles came, with children. I'm gonna, because I ain't gonna give it away on y'all either. Y'all can figure it out. But Mom Coles came and she had a package. Pop came, he had a package. But I didn't know whose was whose. And I think there's probably about 7 or 8 children between them.
Yeah.
And I just lately, like in the last, if we've been with them, 13, 14 years,
yeah, probably
in the last 3 to 4, it's all clear to me now. But they showed us how to do it. They modeled that thing in front of us. That there's no partiality. Yours, mine, ours. In addition, my husband's godparents showed us, the Sealeys, Papa D and Mama Wanda, showed us, they modeled what a successful blended family looks like.
Yeah.
Mama Wanda and Papa D showed the love of God to each other's children that became their children.
Yeah.
And they made no difference. They showed up. We don't have we're without excuse because we saw it modeled in front of us. We saw it with Mama Wanda, like I said, and Papa D. And then we saw it again. And I'm sure there are others, but I'm saying like those are
are too. Like
immediate, like right in front of us all the time.
For real.
In real time.
Like even with us, like I remember last summer we were doing that block party thing with Mom and Pop. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys that Dad brought in was like, "Is that your oldest son?" He was talking.
Joe was his son.
He was like, "He looked just like y'all. That's your son. He gotta be your son." And Dad was just like shaking his head, "Yeah." But that's just how it is, like it when you're blending the blend should not be obvious. You know what I mean? It should be like, and what I mean by that is like, it shouldn't be obvious to everyone. Oh, that's a blended family. They don't have nothing in common. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that. It should be like where people come and they see it and they're like, I don't know who is who. I don't know whose kids is whose kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's the way it should be. So, yeah, you want to make sure that you're working at these things. If you guys have any questions or any comments, and you need help in these areas, please feel free to reach out. Feel free to get in contact with us, or you can get in contact with our spiritual parents, the Coles, and get help in that area, because it takes a village. And yes, you're right, CJ. It does take a village, and I'm glad that you have a strong village. It takes having a strong village to make this thing work, and it can work. You know, it's just we had to. What does that say? It works if you work it.
If you work it.
If you work it, it works. So, all right, good people, we are going to get ready to get out of here. We do want to say we love you.
Yes,
and
we do.
Listen.
Oh, next week.
What's next week? You want to tee it up?
So, holiday edition, do's and don'ts.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
our annual. We do it. We do that every year around the holidays to help the saints. Listen, because y'all listen.
Some people.
Look.
Yeah.
You just need to know sometimes, just a reminder of what may not be the best thing to do or say.
Yeah.
At these family events that you're going to find yourself being a part of as Christmas and the New Year roll in. And so next week, we want you to join us as we, kick off our annual episode of Holiday Do's and Don'ts. Also, please remember to like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
All the things. We do have a YouTube channel, The Marriage Village TV. And there it is right there on the screen for you. And so please remember that, like, share, subscribe, all the things. Oh, wait a minute. One thing is, what happened to your team? What team, daughter? Oh, she's trying to.
She's trying to come. She's trying to come. Listen, listen. All I'm going to say is when it's all said and done, we're probably going to have another championship. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Who's your team? Why you talking?
Oh, Lord.
You better not be blue.
She went to one of these Kentucky schools.
I want to say she went to Louisville.
No, my Lord.
But
help us.
It don't even matter. We made it into the playoff. We're a number 2 seed, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But hey, listen, I need everybody. We chilled out for a moment. We wasn't doing our Marriage Village conference. We didn't do one. Did we do one this year?
We didn't, and the Lord knew what He was doing. There was too many other competing priorities. We're
getting back. Here. Listen, we're getting back to doing the conferences. So be looking for the conference. We should have the dates here probably in the next week or two. So it's about to go down.
My Lord.
It's about to go down. Hey, if you don't have anything to do on Tuesdays and you want to get your study on, come on to Church in the Village Bible Study and be a part of the movement. We are going places. God is doing things with us, and I'm super excited for what's coming with Church in the Village. We are going to be doing some things. We're going to have some family nights next month at the church. So we got a whole lot of things coming for you guys. Get ready, get ready, get ready. In the words of TD Jakes, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready.
Please pick somebody else.
I ain't going to say what we was
talking. No, not we.
Huh?
There was no we.
What? We were discussing.
No, we were not. You decided to interject that, and Brian couldn't let it go. No. No.
All right, so y'all have a great night. We love you all.
Love
and
y'all.
We will see you all next week. Go be great. Peace.